My name is Terry Watanabe. I unfortunately don't have the funds to survive. I'm almost homeless.
$204 million. I want you to actually stop and visualize that number, not read it, feel it. $204 million is more than the entire GDP of the British Virgin Islands. It's enough to buy every house on a Beverly Hills street and still have money left over. It's a number so enormous that even the accountants counting it couldn't believe what they were looking at. Now here's the part that will wreck you. One man lost all of it in a single year. Not a hedge fund, not a government. One soft-spoken, polite man from Omaha, Nebraska, who woke up every morning intending to stop and couldn't. His name is Terrence Watanabe, and when the casino took everything, he didn't disappear quietly. He picked up the phone, called his lawyers, and did something that made the entire Las Vegas industry hold its breath. He sued them. He looked the most powerful gambling corporation in America in the eyes and said, "You knew I was sick. You fed me alcohol and painkillers just to keep me at the table." Today, you're going to find out if he was right and whether he ever got a single dollar back. To understand how a man loses $204 million, you first need to understand that Terrence Watanabe was no fool. His father built the Oriental Trading Company, a direct mail novelty retailer out of Omaha, Nebraska. When his father had a stroke in 1977, 20-year-old Terrence stepped up. He transformed a small carnival supply business into a $300 million per year operation over 2 decades.
Is an American businessman and a man who inherited a massive business from his father called Oriental Trading Company. It was a direct merchant of value-priced party supplies, arts, crafts, toys, novelties, school supplies.
In the year 2000, he sold his stake to a private equity firm and walked away with somewhere around $500 million. $500 million. Built by discipline, not luck. He became a philanthropist, a respected businessman, the kind of wealthy man people pointed to and said, "That's how it's supposed to go." But underneath that polished surface, gambling had been quietly growing roots for years. By 2006, Terrence had moved to Las Vegas permanently, and the city was ready for him. Las Vegas has a word for people like Terrence: whales. Not because they're big, because they're prey. That same year, Steve Wynn, the billionaire casino owner, personally called Terrence and told him to leave. His attorneys even sent a formal letter to the Nevada Gaming Control Board stating Terrence was a gambling addict and an alcoholic. The Wynn wanted no part of it. One of the most powerful men in Vegas looked at Terrence and said, "We don't want your money. Get out." That was the fork in the road. Instead of going home, Terrence walked straight into Caesar's palace. Caesars were in the middle of a massive corporate sale. Every dollar of revenue mattered. Terrence wasn't just a whale to them. He was a balance sheet item. So they created a secret loyalty tier called Chairman, exclusively for him.
His father, Harry Watanabe, founded it, passed it on to his son, Terrence, who not only inherited it, but then expanded the business into a more massive fortune than was handed to him originally.
His photo went up in employee break rooms with one message: keep him gambling. And the drinks, always the drinks. Custom vodka, 2 to 3 bottles a day, free, flowing around the clock. But the alcohol was only part of it. Terrence slipped and hurt his back on the casino property. A Caesars employee arranged for him to receive Lortab, a prescription opioid painkiller, without a prescription, and they didn't give it once. A security officer was later seen delivering a children's candy box to Watanabe's room, filled with Lortab pills. 8 to 10 pills a day. Testified to by a bellman. Confirmed by a roulette dealer. Lortab and vodka is not a recreational combination. It is an incapacitating one. Former employees testified in court that Terrence was stumbling across the casino floor, slurring his words so badly dealers couldn't understand his bets, and passing out beside nightclub speakers, only to be brought back to the table when he woke up. Nevada law is explicit. A visibly intoxicated patron cannot gamble. Caesars ignored it entirely. By end of 2007, Terrence had wagered $825 million in a single calendar year. Net losses, $204 million. At his peak, he accounted for 5.6% of Harrah's entire Las Vegas revenue. One man, 5.6% of a publicly traded corporation. It ended at a Thanksgiving dinner. His sister Pam flew to Vegas, heard the truth for the first time, and drove him straight back to Omaha. He entered treatment. He never stepped inside a casino again. But Caesars wasn't done. Terrence still owed $14.7 million on his credit markers. So Caesars did something almost unheard of in gambling history. They went to the Clark County District Attorney and had him criminally charged. 4 felony counts of theft and intent to defraud, up to 28 years in prison for a gambling debt. Terrence fired back with a civil lawsuit. His legal team laid out everything: the Lortab candy box, the 24-hour alcohol supply, the break room photo, the secret chairman tier, and most damning of all, that Caesars management was financially incentivized to keep him gambling because their corporate sale price depended on high earnings. They called it exactly what it was: exploitation. Caesars called him a sophisticated adult who signed every marker himself and was now trying to dodge a legitimate debt. In 2010, the case settled, confidentially. All 4 felony charges against Terrence were dropped. He paid $100,000 of the $14.7 million Caesars claimed he owed. The New Jersey Gaming Control Board fined Caesars $225,000 for knowingly allowing a visibly intoxicated patron to gamble. $225,000 for $204 million extracted. The fine was less than a rounding error. Caesar's Palace still stands on the Strip. The lights are still on. Terrence Watanabe, the man who once wagered $825 million in 12 months, who tipped dealers $25,000 chips on a whim, today lives on Social Security. In 2017, he launched a GoFundMe to raise $100,000 for cancer surgery. The man who lost $204 million needed strangers on the internet to pay for his treatment. No Hollywood ending, no return money, no dramatic courtroom vindication. Just a quiet man in Northern California who said, "Today, I try to live a good life and be a good man despite my past flaws and mistakes." Because in this story, as in most casino stories, the house won. They always do. But somewhere in a break room, you'll never see a photos pinned to a wall. And the glass is never empty. Subscribe. Because we go inside the stories casinos don't want told.